on the cloud. All right. Hey, everybody. We are here with Tatiana, and I'm not even going to try your last name. You can tell me how to say it.
Ferraciolli.
She is a yoga instructor and aromatherapist and a part of our business directory that you can find in the files section. Tatiana's she was she's a former military spouse, but she was a military spouse for 10 years and ran her business during that time through moves and deployments and all of those things that we all go through. So I just wanted to give her a chance to share about kind of what that's looked like for her. So let me get back to my interview questions. Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I did mention already, your military history. So anything else you would like to tell us about yourself?
Yeah.
Personally?
I am a multicultural person. So if you can see, if you can hear already, I have a different nationality and I was raised in a completely different country. So I am Japanese.
Okay.
Even though I don't look like, I was raised in Japan and Hawaii. So that's where that's where the military life started for me. So all the way back into Schofield, Hawaii. And when I was in Japan, that's where I met yoga and I met everything that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Awesome. And I should mention, if any of you watching have a question or anything, throw it in the chat and I will make sure and read it out so we can answer that. And of course, if you have a question after this live is over, you can still leave it in the comments and Tatiana or I will come back and answer it for you. And also I put one link in the description, but we'll add some more links to all the ways to contact Tatiana here in a little bit. All right, now that's out of the way. So tell us, I know you've got kind of different aspects of your business, you've got a few different things going on. So just kind of tell us about that. What do you, I mean, obviously you're a yoga instructor and aromatherapist, as I said, but elaborate on what it is you do.
So I work with different style of yoga. So one of the coolest things, we have aerial yoga that is on post, is closed for us. And it's pretty much just for military family. And we have floating yoga, which is something that it's almost like a delicacy. We only have that on post. There's nothing around like that. I offer different style of yoga too. So like a lot of people go through pregnancy, right? Military life, you go through pregnancy, maybe 1, 2, 3, and maybe some women's even after pregnancy, they need to work on pelvic floor. So I work with that as well. So different dimensions, different things that we work with, different style of yoga. And I also work with aromatherapy. I am a certified aromatherapist, and I also teach people how to use essential oil. So I sell essential oil as well. So different things are a lot of things that we do over here.
Yeah, but they overlap, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also a school for teachers. So one of the cool things that just happened, I think we started a year ago. We have soldiers that come to our studios and they come and they learn about how to become a yoga instructor, and they get to be deployed and take yoga with them as they deploy. So we are working on that as well.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's neat. So we've been Facebook friends for probably a couple of years now, I think.
Yeah.
On your posts, like the floating yoga, I feel like I would just fall off into the water.
Oh, and that's the purpose. That's the purpose. We just get people on board and we get people to fall off the board. So it's so much fun.
I saw that and I was like, oh my goodness, I would just be in the water. But yeah, and aerial yoga looks really interesting. That looks really neat.
Yeah, and it's really awesome because it works so much of the upper body, especially for women's. We don't have that upper body to climb things, and it's just you start to see your body becoming a little bit different. So it's really nice to try. It's fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, while we're kind of just on the subject of what you do and the classes you teach, tell me, and I know you said a lot of them are on post classes.
Yes.
A lot of them really geared towards military families, military spouses, service members, veterans, all of that. how like levels are some of your classes beginners, some of them more advanced? Are they all kind of multi-level? How does
Yeah, like right now we are multi-level, and I am always mindful when I have someone that is new to the practice, and I just give them something easier for them to start with, and accommodating everyone within the class.
Right.
And we also have I have people that have been practicing yoga for almost 15 years, and we accommodate them all together. Someone that just started today and someone that that is there 15 years, and I just kind of give them modifications so that everyone can be at the same place at the same time.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So no, people don't have to worry about, well, I've never done
Mhm.
this before. Can I go to that class? They can just, you're going to work with
They
whoever.
can just come in. Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
And then you're going to put all the links and times and stuff for your classes in the comments,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So people know how to go find you after this, because I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll want to. All right, awesome. Well, you mentioned that you got started. Remind me, you got started in Japan or in Hawaii with yoga?
Yeah, so I'm a surfer, and
Okay.
on in Japan it gets cold like here. I think here is a little bit colder. I used to say that it gets very cold, but then after I got here, I start to be like, it doesn't get as cold as here, but it does get cold over there too. And we used to get in the water, and it's freezing. We have this wetsuit and everything. That's where we started to be like, we have to keep moving, so let's do some yoga on the top of the surfboard. So
Okay.
that's how my journey started, so I don't freeze as I'm waiting for a wave to come, which sometimes it would take about 30 minutes between each wave in the winter.
Right.
So we started to do exercises on the top of the board, and then we started to take uh, hula dance,
Okay.
and we started to put those two together. And then with time, I became more like, okay, I'm gonna start to learn more about this and become an
Yeah.
instructor. Yeah.
Cool. So is floating yoga something you came up with, or is that like a practice that was developed already and you just kind of accidentally found your way to it?
Both. Because
Okay.
I had my own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is anyone that is floating yoga yet. So technically yes, floating yoga it's mine. Um, uh, when I came here for Riley, because we need a certification for anything that we teach, and then I went to California and I got certification for the boga. And that's where I think maybe the people that have been following me, maybe you see that we use boga boards.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a certification that we got. However, I did start floating yoga like back when I was surfing, so it's like 15 years ago or more. 15 years, yeah.
Cool.
15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not 50. You're not
Yeah,
that
I don't have 15 here.
old.
15 to
Okay, cool.
16 years.
So you pretty much developed your thing, but you had to go get certified to meet the
Hmm.
Army's requirements.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
somebody else was developing it too and has a
yeah,
certification for you.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. Um, awesome. Okay. So tell me about the experience. We're going to kind of turn to the business side now.
Yeah.
What's it been like running a business as a military spouse, as you were doing that, going through moves, going through deployments? Just kind of speak to what was the biggest struggles, what was the biggest
I,
benefit
I
of doing that?
I think for myself, everything was always a blessing, just because you always get to work with new people, and
Yeah.
you always get to meet new people. And I find that the military community, they are very together. Like, it's easier for you to find help. It's
Sure.
easier for you to communicate and become friend, like especially through these groups that we have here. So like before any PCS, I would always message everyone that I could find in the place where I'm gonna leave, and I would ask questions, and I would make friends, and I would make sure that I would have at least 3 or 4 friends or people that I know already in there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have military to move you around. So you're always working with new people, and that's really great for business.
Yeah. Awesome. So as far as, yeah, it's really great for business, definitely. And it sounds like it kind of moved you to reach out and get
Yeah,
to know
yeah,
people, get to
yeah,
friends.
to network with people.
Yeah, because you have to. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I think with your, for your certifications, you don't have to worry about changing state to state like some people do, right? They're pretty much just cover everything.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
And
think I don't. Mhm.
have you generally worked on military installations, like done most of your stuff through
Yes.
MWR and just
Yeah.
made those connections?
Yes. I think in my case, I only know the military lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have never worked outside of the military installation. So I would say no. There's two yoga studio that I worked that is outside of the military installation, which was one in Manhattan
Mhm.
and the one in Junction City. So this is my first
So
time
just here.
that I have been working outside of the military, but I work for their families still because
Right.
military families still come to those people. So it's still 100% working with people that are connected with the military, even though
Right.
I'm outside of post.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think that's its own challenge though, because and maybe it fell easily for you, but sometimes it can be hard to get in with MWR or the fitness centers on post. Like some people run into challenges and walls. And of course it's the military, so it probably depends on who you talk to, which installation and
Yeah.
all those things. But
Yeah.
it sounds like you've gotten good at making those
I
relationships and connections
did.
and
Yeah,
doing
I never had problem moving.
good.
I remember before even move over here for Riley, one of those things that I always worry about because I'm a water person.
Uh-huh.
So before I even move, I want to know where are the pools? Where can I go to? Is that close to the ocean? No. Then where can I find pool? Or where
Right.
can I find gym? And what type of gym did they have? And where's the gym was gonna be from my house? And I already have the housing list
Mhm.
on my hands, and I know, okay, I'm gonna live over here. How long does it take for me to get to the gym? So I'm already thinking that before I move, and I'm already connecting with the gyms and talking with them. And do you need people to work? So that's what I did coming to for Riley.
Mhm.
I called Eyster pool, and I was like, you guys have pool? How is your pool? I want to move over there and I want to work with you guys.
Yeah.
Um, and I have yoga, so we can bring floating yoga over there. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Good.
Hmm.
Awesome. Okay. And then, well, we've already talked about kind of how it goes with moving. So you've already given a lot of good tips for that. Reach out, make friends, meet people there,
Yeah,
find the
yeah.
things that are important to you,
Hmm.
whatever those things are. For you, it's the pool and the gym. Other people, it might be something different, but do that legwork to get out there and find those things.
Yeah, yeah. And you always find there's always so many there are the people that are helpful. We
Yeah,
just have to find them.
sure. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Um, what would you tell a military spouse or maybe a service member or maybe somebody leaving the service transitioning to civilian life, what advice would you give them if they're thinking about starting their own small business?
Make a research, first of all. We all have different things that when you start, you're going to say later, like, I wish I had started this way, or I wish I had, especially if that involves getting certifications. I have several yoga certifications, several. And I've been to different courses that I thought I did really good research, and then I got there and I was like, wow, it's almost like I'm talking through and teaching people to do things here, and I'm paying for it. Um, yeah, so really do your research. There's different things out there, and different things that, for example, the floating yoga, I could totally start my own business if I have thought about, which I can, and I can become certify people with that. But I never thought about, that mindset too, and the fear of maybe I'm not good enough to start something. That probably got into me, and maybe if I had reached to someone to get help. So this is a cool thing. Find someone that is doing what you want to do, and check up with them and see what they are doing good, so you can try to kind of mimic what they're doing, and see what can you improve of what they're doing so that you can start your own business.
Yeah.
And then you can ask questions too. I'm sure that whoever is going to be happy to help and give the little tips like where to go and who is the next hot topic. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. Now, building on that a little bit, specifically for somebody who was wanting to get into teaching yoga, or we could expand it a little bit and say fitness of different types, because they overlap a little bit. I know yoga is not exactly like other fitness, but there's a lot of similarities. If they were wanting to get into that, or they were wanting to maybe do that working with the gyms on post, that kind of stuff, what advice would you give to somebody looking at that? I'm sure there's a lot, but a little bit.
I think, first is see something that you can teach more than once and you feel okay teaching more than once, because to go and get certified, there are some certifications that it requires you to pay a monthly fee. So like Zumba instructors, I think they pay $75 per month or something like that. So that's a lot. If you're going to be certified and you for you to hold your certification, if you have to pay. So I know different certifications. Yoga is not like that. So like for me, I certify yoga instructors, and once they're done, they're done. They don't have to pay me anything, or anyone, any yoga instructor don't have to pay. So this is a plus, because it is more expensive at the beginning, but then later you don't have to be thinking like, okay, how many years do I have to be paying this? And depending of the certification, they include music, so you can play music in the background and record. Yoga does not do that. You have to buy your own music, which becomes very expensive. So this is a couple things that you have to look for, like what are you willing to give up? And what do you want to do with your certification in the future? Do you want to, even if you're not teaching, are you there's going to be that phase that you're not going to be teaching. Maybe you're going to go through injury or something, and you cannot teach for the month or a couple months. And are you happy paying that fee for a couple months and not being teaching? So those are a couple things. And again, what type of workout that you want to teach. I teach yoga, and I teach power yoga, which is it's a lot of work. Sometimes you get to I was teaching 4 or 5 classes. At one point I was teaching 8 classes per day.
Oh, wow.
And that's just crazy on the body. I was getting very fit. My whole body was getting destroyed too, because I was overdoing my body. My joints was all sore. And every time that anyone would ask me something, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sore. Like my whole body was achy. So too much. Now imagine if I was doing that with body pump. If I'm thinking about teaching 8 classes and I'm doing body pump, your body cannot handle that. So like what kind of instructor do you want to be, and how much do you money how much do you need to make, or you're doing just for fun and you just want to teach 1 class per day? So I think I would think about that before you wanting to think about what type of instructor you want to be. Of course, you can teach about everything, and I'm sure that MWR will be very happy if you have all that thing in your belt and you want to do personal training, Zumba, and yoga. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart to think about. How many times can you teach this without tearing up your body, and how many classes can you reasonably do, and is that going to meet your needs for whatever your goals are? That's smart. I mean, I've thought about that for other businesses, but I don't know if I would have thought it through that much.
Because you get so excited and you're just thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to be making money working out. This is awesome. It's awesome for the first 2 or 3 months, and then it's going to be to that 4 month where you're going to be thinking like, I'm working out for other people and I'm having to cut on my own workouts, and you're not seeing your body going forward because you're working out for other people, especially when you have to show the workout. If you're working out in a way that you don't have to be demonstrating, so your body doesn't have to go through that, and you're just talking people through, which sometimes yoga, you can do that. You can just talk people through. However, I like to be demonstrating and doing everything with everyone, because I feel like everyone has more fun when we are doing this. when
Right.
we are when I'm demonstrating and talking through the whole class.
Mhm.
So if I teach 4 classes per day, I will be doing yoga that 4 classes per day. If I'm
Right.
teaching Pilates 4 times per day, I'm gonna be doing that same thing that everyone is doing 4 times per day. And at one point, I was doing 2 floating yogas per day and teaching everything that I'm teaching. And floating yoga, it's one of the workouts that you get 1 hour and you are done for the day. You're done. The water just get you so relaxed and so tired. It's draining. So I would not be able to teach 8 classes of floating yoga. Like 2 classes, that's it for me. And even 1 class, I see some people coming out of 1 class like completely like I'm just gonna go home and I'm gonna sleep for the rest of the day because I'm so tired. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it does take a lot of energy teaching.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not like some other jobs you can just keep going however much you need to do, but you have to
Yeah,
pace your body and figure out what you can do. That makes sense.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
awesome. Well, thanks. That's helpful. I think hopefully that'll be helpful to somebody. I'm sure there's somebody out there thinking about like, oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
enjoy this. How could I teach it? And that'll be
yeah,
good information for them to think about. So how obviously right now we're all in the middle of, COVID-19. I think we're all tired of it and we're all like, is life ever going
yeah,
to go back to normal? But tell me, how has that affected your business and kind of what have you done to shift your business to meet
yeah.
people's needs and still keep everybody safe? We've all, as business owners, of course, we've all had to make adjustments. So
Mhm.
in case anybody's out there is looking for ideas, what have you had to do? What have you found to do to help you and your clients?
Yeah. So when the pandemic started, we were right in the middle of a teacher training, and we had to shift everything. Which at that point we have to shift everything online to do here through Zoom, and all the classes too. Even my aerial yoga, everything went through Zoom. So I teach from here. And as I'm talking with people, like I have cameras on the side so the person can see the front of me and the
Oh,
side of me, and we're teaching class through Zoom, and they have the view of my whole body.
mhm.
So as I'm teaching, they see, they hear. It's quite as a 3 dimension, and that's the closest that we can get.
Right.
But everything went to the Zoom, everything. I actually opened a lot of things free for people. So like if you go to my RYSE Yoga Studio to my Facebook, and you're going to see that there's lots of videos over there that we have been recording since pandemic started, because I realized that this is going to be people more affected more for the mental part, anxiety and things. So this is when i I and many other yoga instructors, we thought that this is when people yoga the most.
Yeah.
So we started to teach lots of classes online, and you can see like every studio did the same
Yeah.
thing. So we have our YouTube that has lots of videos. We run challenges too, because we know that a lot of people have never done yoga before the pandemic, and then after pandemic they start to realize like they were getting anxious feeling, they were getting, things were changing emotionally for them. uh, so a lot of people have never tried yoga before, and with that in mind I was like, well, then let me try to create a very small session every day so like people can
Yeah.
learn a little bit what are the poses, what they need to do with each poses, and I'll get overwhelmed all in one video, right? So like it's broken down like poses by poses, so like on the last video you can do the whole sequence. So yeah, so like if you go to my Facebook, just go over there. Every once in a while we are always running a challenge just to get people to come out of their couch and move.
Sure.
And it is a challenge, but it's not that it's hard, it's just called a challenge to get you to move.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna have to check those out. Yoga's always kind of been one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I should probably try to do that. Probably be really good for me. But then I get overwhelmed with
yeah,
um just all the resources that are out there. I mean, if you go like look on YouTube for yoga, well, you're gonna get like so
so
many,
many things.
and
Yeah,
then I'm like, I don't. is that one good? I don't know. Is that one, it's just so,
Yeah.
there's such a huge range that it's hard to kind of know who to
Yeah.
go with. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out for sure. I think that'll be good for people to look at and get a taste of it. And I would feel more comfortable. Like right now, I'm all over the place. So going to a class is hard anyway, but
Yeah.
I would be self-conscious. And I know that you structure it for beginners to anybody, but I personally would have, that's just a struggle. And that's something I probably should get over. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to go and look like, even if I don't have to be perfect, but
Yeah.
very self-conscious, like if I can't do it at
Yeah.
all.
And that's what yoga is about, not worry about perfection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just releasing and let go of all the criticism and allow your mind to just be there. And it's one of those things, you close your eyes and you don't care. And one of my classes, and I think a lot of people like that because it's dark. So if you feel okay to be in a darker room, what I do, I have little lights. So it's very dark. So this is the only class I'm teaching right now. It's the
Okay.
one that is in Junction City,
Okay.
and it's so affordable. I think if I'm not wrong, it's like $1.25. So like for a yoga class,
Yeah.
that's very affordable. I think you pay punch card. So
Okay.
I think it's $25 and you get 10 punch card.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Something like that.
Which is still like a lot of places where you
Yeah.
go, you're going to pay $25 if you're dropping in,
Oh
or
yeah.
$10, $10 to
Yeah.
$25, depending the studio you're going to. But yeah, so it's very cheap, very affordable. Anyone can go, so there's no like fear of like, oh my God, what if I pay a month ahead and I cannot come? So this is a good place to try. Like if you're not sure and you're just like, maybe I should just go one, and the first time is free. Um, and we have lights and the whole room is dark, so like sometimes it feels like you're kind of invisible to
Okay.
other people, and that's what a lot of people say when they are coming for the first time. They were like, it's kind of dark, and people are very far away, the room is very big, and nobody will see you too much, so people feel comfortable. But if not, the videos, you can be closed in a room and nobody will see you,
Yeah.
and you can try first and you'll be like, okay, I feel more comfortable now.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good to know. So that's the only class you're teaching in person right now at the moment?
Yes, I teach for a couple units on
Okay.
post too, but that's a unit thing.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Okay.
And but yeah, the only class that we have been teaching, we have a chair yoga, which is for seniors and veterans, and then we have the yoga, which is for everyone. Yeah, so that's the only class that we are teaching so far.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but for this class that you're teaching, and then when you get back to teaching all your other classes, I do know that when we've talked before, your prices are incredibly
Mhm.
affordable. Like
Yes.
they
Hmm.
are so much lower than I would have ever imagined.
Yeah, yeah.
So if anybody out there is thinking, oh, I'd really like to do that, but I've looked into it and it's very expensive, just follow Tatiana's stuff because her classes are definitely meant to be accessible to people.
Hmm.
They are they're very affordable. A lot of them, like you mentioned, have a punch card or a pay as you go option. So yeah, so definitely look into that if that is something you're concerned about. Um, I don't think that there's anything out there. I don't think there's any fitness classes out there that are as affordable,
Yeah, yeah.
really, because yeah. So
Yeah, and that was the idea too, because I was once a military spouse too, and I didn't work, and I know how is the feeling like not working and not wanting to spend the husband's money sometime, or being trying to short, and some of the time they have kids, so I know how hard it is, and the idea of creating something on post was to make their life easier and help them to have that there for them, so it's
yeah,
easy, they don't have to drive off post, because sometimes driving off post is like driving to another city, which it is. And
yeah,
it's hard. So yeah, like it was a dream that several people helped me to put together to make that happen.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So that's great, and that's hopefully you'll be able to get back to teaching more classes soon. But it'll
Yeah.
be good for anybody to check out the one that you're doing in Junction City.
Hmm.
and you said first class is free, and then it's a punch card after that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so come as you can. Awesome. All right, well, I don't have any other questions for you. Is there anything else that you would like to share about yoga specifically, or business in general, or anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to tell the group?
Like we right now, I'm working on getting our studio back, and we are accredited by Yoga Alliance. So like anyone that comes study with us, they will get 200 hours. So we have that going on still. And because we cannot reopen the studio, Yoga Alliance allow us to do this, to offer that 200 hours online. And I know many of the people that might be thinking like, I want to become a yoga instructor, but now they have maybe they're homeschooling their kids and they cannot come out of the house. So this is a great way that they can get certified, and usually Yoga Alliance does not do that. The only reason that they are allowing us to teach online is because the pandemic. And even for people that are already being able to open their studio, they're not allowing anymore. They're only allowing the people that cannot open the studio, and we are one of them. So we have a course going on right now all the way towards December. So the graduation will be December for anyone wanting to become a yoga instructor. I'm also working with becoming being able to offer my CAA. So like anyone that has my CAA, that they would be able to use that for the yoga. So that's coming. That should be here soon. So if you have that option, come talk with me, and we can work on that. And I can maybe call them and get them to speed up a little bit more. Yeah. And if you have intention to do this online, this is the time, and it's not going to be forever. They're gonna shut down that at some point and just tell like, no, we're coming back to in person only. So this is a great time that you don't have to travel somewhere, because that's a very costly thing to have to travel and do 200 hours. So this is very hard for military family and military soldiers. Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who is thinking about getting certified should get a hold of you as soon as possible and chat with you about their options there. And as you mentioned, that you've had soldiers who get certified so that they can offer this to their units, offer this to people when they're deployed, where there might not otherwise be a yoga instructor. So I know that I think even the VA has done a study, or somebody's done a study and found some really, really positive effects for soldiers, for lots of different issues that soldiers normally have, but the aches and pains that they have, but also a lot of the mental health things that they struggle with, soldiers and veterans. So there's been a lot of, scientific studies done about the positive effects of this for soldiers and veterans specifically. So spouses or soldiers or veterans who are interested in doing this, definitely get a hold of you.
There's a lot of things, great things happening with military and yoga right now. So this is the time for us to hop in and help to make that change in the world and support the military community that way, and especially with our veterans that are coming out right now with PTSD or TBI. They really need help. VA really need help with from yoga instructors. In fact, I just have one yoga instructor that just came out right now, and that's one of her plans. So one, she's still over here working with soldiers, and there's another one that she has a plan to go to VA and help them, all the veterans.
Yeah, awesome. Good. So lots of opportunities. And then of course, right now, opportunities to get certified online and not have to travel to a class. So that is very unique and not going to be around very long. So take advantage of that if you are interested in being a yoga instructor. Awesome. And then we will look forward to all of the links and everything in the comments, so we know where to check out, where to take your class or check out your online videos and all of those things. So that'll be great. And I don't have any comments as of now, but if we get any comments, I'll be sure to tag you so you can come and answer those and provide any additional information. I really appreciate you letting me interview you and being.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Especially kind of last minute getting that together. So
yeah,
appreciate
that's awesome.
it.
I really appreciate it for you.
Yeah.
for everyone. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great week. Rest of your
too.
weekend, and we'll be in touch. Okay. Copy.